dribble a couple times more and get in the box, and that's what he wants to see.
There's the talented rookie goalkeeper for the Blue Devils, Julian Eyestone. And Duke will get the first touch. Off we go from Durham on a beautiful night here in the Bull City. Blue Devils retained the possession, and Coach Kerr not shy when we talked to him earlier this week, Cedric, about how important tonight's game was for his club to come out and kind of establish themselves early on.
Unequivocally answered within half a second, this is a must-win game. Without hesitation, strong eye contact. He is intense and ready for this game. This is a chance for them to get back on track. You know, tough one over the weekend at Notre Dame, which is always a tough trip with all the travel. Equally quick turnaround for both of these clubs. You know, both played Saturday night, so both may have a few tired legs, both only limited practices since. So how this game starts is very important.
Yeah, long trip for Elon as well, going up to Boston, taking on Northeastern. It'll be interesting to see, and both coaches, Mark Reeves of Elon telling us too, that they had to kind of trim down their training a little bit this week heading into this matchup because they didn't know who was going to be available, who might have the tired legs. And Elon, a club that has to train in the mornings because of their class schedule.
Yeah, and the training in the morning especially, it usually takes 48 hours for some of that stuff to show up. And if you're training Monday morning after a Saturday game, you may not know how that player really is until today. And so there were several players that were in question that they were going to see how they warmed up and see how much they could give. So we'll see. This is a midweek game, maybe some tired legs. From a coaching perspective, there's a lot of chess pieces to move around.
Interesting, though, for Elon, you look at their record, 1-6-3, falling from a solace trying to settle, could not. But Mark Reeves, not shy at all about talking about how good the culture, how good his locker room is, and how his guys have still bought in. They believe that they've got the pieces that can make a push to get into the CAA tournament. They're just a couple games back, and they're still lurking with the pieces there to make a late-season charge.
He made me a believer, and as if I didn't see the record. I mean, and a testament to their leader. Coach Reeves is one of the good guys in the game and leads a great program and has great culture. And he really mentioned, as you mentioned, coming off of that record-breaking season, CAA champs, NC tourney berth, they hosted the NCAA tournament game, all of those successes. Then you add 12 new pieces this year to incorporate. So you've got the challenges that come along with that, but the culture's strong, and you're right, they still believe they are in every match they play.
Chance here, a little bit too much pace on that, and an easy play for Eyestone to usher it away.
And Chris, we see right away, look at this Elon line of confrontation. They know what the Blue Devils bring. They know how quickly they can get it to counter. One thing Coach Reeves mentioned is they were going to let the game settle down. Right now, it doesn't look like they're passing past the semicircle. So an extremely high line of confrontation, high meaning closer to the midfield. They're going to let the Blue Devils play around the back and really try to pick off pieces as they come and attack through the wings or middle.
And he being Coach Reeves, said to us, he didn't want to play that style of game where you sit back and you kind of pack it in. He wanted to pick their moments, to your point, and try to attack this Duke team when they had an opportunity.
Quality over quantity.
Yeah.
You want quality chances where they can build. He really focused on possession. Possession. We need to hold the ball. We need to get into a rhythm. We need to find the opportunities to solve the puzzle and find those passing lanes.
From a Duke perspective, I had to figure Elon might try to employ this strategy. Hard takedown in the middle and a foul against the Phoenix here. What do you make from the Duke perspective in the first almost 4 minutes of this? First, a look at this tough foul.
Well, we can see right away this ball came over the top and went wide to Amir Daly. He went streaking down the middle. Coach Kerr is going to do what he does best, and that is they stick to their style.
Masala sitting one in, loose there, the top of the box. Frederick settles for Duke.
And we see that style in this play right now. It is get the ball in the box as quickly as possible. If we lose it, we repress. Our defense creates offensive opportunities. We just saw 3 chances on that one series.
Masala's had one right there on frame. Orbileski, the junior from Poland, there to make the stop. Thought it was a little comical. And Coach Reeves laughed about it a bit in the conversation, too. Orbileski, he's played pretty well despite the goals given up. He said, he's made more saves this year than the last 4 years of goalkeepers combined. We've been tested back there for sure.
This is a fickle game sometimes where the results don't tell the whole story, and he stressed that repeatedly on the call of, hey, I know we don't have the best results that we'd like and the standard we've set, but we haven't played bad soccer. We've been out of some games, but there's still improvement happening. There's still growth happening.
I was quick to point out, though, that, no matter how good you think you have played, you are what your results and your record says that you are. But certainly some winnable games down the stretch for this Elon team, and they believe that it can start tonight, a chance to pick off a top 15 team in the Blue Devils on the road.
And just, CAA may not be quite as strong a conference as the ACC, but it's very strong. And, there's no off night for them. Right after this, they've got Campbell, who's not having the best season by their standards, but they're still a really good team.
And the CAA has gotten even better, too, with the additions of teams like Monmouth and Stony Brook that are toward the top of the newly renamed Coastal Athletic Association.
Yeah, those are all good soccer teams. Really a testament, I think, to the growth of our game in general at the collegiate level.
I mean, we highlighted in the Open for Elon their leading scorer, Victor Stromson, who's 6'7" tall. I mean, that's a kid probably 5-10 years ago going to go play basketball.
Yeah, I agree. And he's running around looking like Peter Crouch.
He is. CAA Player of the Week. Elon would love to get him involved in the fray.
And speaking of Stromson, 6'7" is 6'7". You have to always have an eye on him. Many of his goals are scrappy goals, headers, follow-throughs in the box. So you always have to have a read on him.
Elon trying to build something up, but once again, Duke smothering defensively. Masalis right there in the fray. And a foul there on Elon against Kenny Hott.
And we see that when Blue Devils were attacking, we see the entire Elon team really within a 40-yard space. Mm-hmm. Look right now. They're at midfield. They're very organized. They're not pressuring heavily. We'll see them step a little higher now with the ball back. But they're all staying compact. Now, the downside of that is you win it back, there's not much space to build, so you have to get out quickly.
Ajago takes another tumble, another foul on Elon, and that's really, when you look at the history of this series, that's kind of how these games are. They're tightly contested, physical games between two programs who have a very high pedigree and both have a high culture.
You're right. The last 3 of the last 4 games against these guys have been decided by 1 goal. This is always this is a rivalry match.
Look at the game last year, 1-0, a win for the Blue Devils in Elon.
See a little bit opposite approach to the press from the Blue Devils. They are going to press high. They are going to press often. They are going to put this back 3 from Elon under pressure immediately.
And Isto will have to get rid of this one. Thus far, you feel like Elon is executing what they wanted to do coming into this match?
Yeah, I think this is their game plan. They're not going to sit in and take it, so to speak, but they're also not – they don't want to create spacing in the middle to make it easy for Duke to pass through them and around them. And I think they're holding their own. They slowed the pace down. So 10 minutes in, I think it's going exactly to plan.
Coach Reeves talked about how he wanted his team to be hard to break down, and so far, to your point, mission accomplished.
And the key is defensively, they have to compact. If those wing backs are going to get high offensively, they have to get numbers across the backs and go to a flat 5 as quickly as possible when they lose it.
Nice play there by the Blue Devils. Acito getting a boot on it. Ben Rosenblatt, one of the guys, and there are a few of these on this Elon team, as he'll toss it in for the Phoenix. A 4th-year player at Elon. He's a true senior for the Phoenix, and in this day and age of college athletics, a rarity to see a guy stay all 4 years at a program.
Rarity, had a great conclusion to last year's season, finished all CAA tournament team. You're right, those 4-year guys are rare with the new transfer rules. There's not the level of patience maybe of waiting your turn. If I can go somewhere else and get so it's a challenge for the coaches, and all the coaches bring it up is they have to constantly be aware you're going to play your best players, that you have to keep the whole team engaged.
John Kerr, the Duke head coach, talked about that with us this week too. How do you keep your guys fresh and ready to go? And, he talked about the importance of training. And there are a lot of guys on this Duke team that probably could start on a consistent basis for even some other teams in the ACC.
What I love about that was the transparency. Mm-hmm. of letting the players know we watch training, we record training, even though in the heat of the season we can't play 11v11 as much as we'd like. We are paying attention. I have an open door to my office. Anytime you have questions, he mentioned several players have taken advantage of that. But yes, to your point, I mean, there's 5 to 7 bona fide ACC starters standing on that sideline right now.
But again, that speaks to the culture that both of these coaches have created in their respective programs, to where guys want to come and be part of something bigger than themselves, and programs that are perennial contenders for NCAA tournaments and going deep into that tournament as well.
And to your point, it's what you sign up for. You play in a conference like this, you're playing against the best players in the country, and the best are going to play, and you have to prove yourself every day because you've got 29 other teammates on the same mission.
Elon looking to build a bit of a chance here. This is their go-to scorer, Victor Stromston, trying to shake free. Stromston now feathered in. And a goal kick coming for the Blue Devils.
Thompson did a really good job holding that ball up. I mean, he was on an island by himself when he first got it and smartly pulled it back, held it up, looked for a teammate versus trying to go himself. That's, again, the possession. Coach Reeves stress, let's get it up, let's possess it, let's get numbers up, let your teammates join in.
And now a set-piece opportunity for the Phoenix. The officials deemed it went over the touch line there, so Elon with their first corner of the night. That's one of those opportunities maybe off the set pieces that could be important for the Phoenix to get one. Scott Vatnut, the junior from Norway, will have the honors here. Service in. Poked away.
Scott Vatnut, as you mentioned, first team All-CAA last year. There's a lot of talent on this Elon team.
And he was really praised highly by his head coach, Mark Reeves. Said in the game at North Carolina about a week or so ago, Vatnut played what Coach Reeves deemed the best performance I've seen in 25 years of college soccer. And the reason he's on the Herman Trophy watch list.
Exactly. There's big praise coming from Coach Reeves.
I mean, if you've played the best he's seen in 25 years, I mean, that guy has won a lot of games and been around a lot of...
He's seen a lot of really good players, too. Yep. Yeah, he was glowing feedback on that performance.
Back to the Blue Devils after the foul there.
And you can see we're 15 minutes in. This Elon team isn't going to lay down. They're not going to make this easy. They're not looking at the records. They believe they can play with this team.
Maybe a bit of a push there against the Blue Devils. And Bull Jorgensen will be summoned by the referee here. Wants no piece of that conversation there.
None whatsoever.
Yeah. Let's take another look. No card there, just a little bit of a warning. And then I think there was a little bit of a push.
Yeah, it was a foul. He got behind him, not quite shoulder to shoulder, just didn't have the angle right. Honestly, probably could have kept pressing him down the line, considering he was a little off balance and won that back. But not a bad place in the field to commit that foul.
And probably a good job of officiating there. The officials know how intense these contests are between these teams. Try to settle it down early.
This is a seasoned crew. These guys are good, and then you can see him pull the player aside. Let's have a quick conversation. They will control this game.
Misfiring on the header. Another chance. Ricochets out. But it'll be last touch by Duke, and another corner kick opportunity here for the Phoenix. And in the game where you're perhaps the underdog a little bit, Cedric, as Elon is coming into this, these set-piece opportunities are so important for a team.
They're vital. I mean, 2 in the first 15 minutes, and they've got a lot of big boys in that box, so anything can happen on these set pieces.
Remember, Stromston, 6'7", too. Got to watch out for him. Vatnut ready to do the honors again. Headed out, but not out of harm's way for the Blue Devils quite yet. Vatnut plays one in. And it trickles to Eyestone, who has to go down to a knee to make that save.
That's a dangerous ball into the box. Blue Devils have to be careful allowing this Elon team to gain confidence with these set pieces.
We've seen maybe a half chance for the Blue Devils earlier, but really not a whole lot for Duke in terms of offensive opportunities here in the first 15 minutes.
Elon's done a good job of shutting them down and really haven't allowed Duke to maintain the possession to create those opportunities. And
Looking for a Jago here and a nice play. Come up and play that one.
And it's Cam Kerr, I believe, playing that ball over, who's played some phenomenal crosses. Him and Ajagu have connected for a couple of goals this season. And that's what the Blue Devils want to do. They want to get expansive, find that winger, and get the ball into the box and the mix as quickly as possible.
Talk about playing those crosses and have connected for a couple of goals. It seems to me like that's something that's developed in training and in the preseason to get that timing and that chemistry down.
I'll tell you what, those guys train together playing for me all summer, and I saw that a lot. So they and that was strategic. It wasn't by accident. They started building that chemistry back in May.
That was a shameless plug, by the way.
Shameless.
Yeah.
Shameless.
Another throw in here for Elon. You can certainly tell, despite the tough results for Elon, they're not backing down at all tonight. We were talking about it, you and I, before we came on the air. You could tell even during the warm-ups how focused and how intense the Phoenix were in preparation for this game tonight.
I walked past Elon warming up, and they were looking at. They were ready to go. I mean, they are not intimidated at all. You could tell just the pep in their step, the way they're knocking it around, the vocalness of their warm-up. This is a very prideful team that's won a lot of games together. The longer this game stays 0-0, the more confidence they will build.
Stromson's trying to take free, could not. And nobody home there for Duke. Off the deflection. Back to Eyestone, who again just has to get it out of the way. And right now, all the confidence with this Elon club just over 15 minutes into this opening half.
Elon's had the better run of play for the last 5-10 minutes.
Really weathered that early storm that Duke tried to impose in the first couple of minutes, that half chance for the Blue Devils. And too much pace on that. Jago couldn't track it down.
Well, that's one byproduct of Elon condensing the field so much. I mean, there's not room for the Blue Devils to get out either and play their trademark ball for playing those balls into spaces and counter.
So how does Duke counter what Elon's been able to do in the last 5 or 10 minutes?
Patience, keep the ball. If don't be so rushed. If we need to go back to Julian and swing it around, attack from the other side of the pitch, keep the ball moving quickly. Ball always is the fastest player on the field. Keep the ball moving. And raise the energy level. Ball always finds energy. We see Periano you can see him getting into this. You see him repressing. He's going to start creating things. So more energy and quicker ball movement.
I feel like Elon's got the more energy right now.
Elon has for the last 10 minutes or so. And that comes with the confidence.
Sure.
The longer this game stays 0-0, they feel they're equals.
Tino Lopez puts it in play for the Blue Devils as they try to build the attack.
Hey, John, bigger presence when you're over here.
Right now, Elon pretty content to let the Blue Devils just play here in the middle third. That one feathered ahead, and...
Well, right now, everything's long. Yeah. Everything's a long ball, and it's not connecting. So don't worry. They'll get some feedback from the sidelines very soon.
If they haven't already.
They haven't already. They can hear it in their heads if they're not hearing it out loud.
Bit of a stumble there, but the Blue Devils come away with it. Kenny Hott. Now some room to operate. Masalis on the flank. Well, you can see how tightly Jago being marked by this Elon club tonight. Knew that he was going to be at the top of the scouting report.
Hey, they've watched some film as well. I'm sure they've had a player bing Mr. Jago in training all week. You have to have an eye on him. They've seen the goals he's created and how he creates them. You can't give him any space.
To the top of the box. Turning, creating some space. That one pinballs around. Jago had it hop off his boot and back out towards center.
There's a reason Nick Periano was reigning ACC Player of the Week. Didn't get the result there, but he had that goal. He won his individual battle. He picked his corner, just got picked off on the way in. A lot of confidence, and that's exactly what Coach Kerr stressed, is that confidence in the final third, in the box specifically. Get in the box as much as possible. Good things happen.
He was one of those guys that Coach Kerr talked about really wanting to be better in the final third over the final 6 or so matches of this regular season. Played in, but nobody home for the Blue Devils.
But that's the Blue Devil style, is getting that cross early as soon as possible. And we see Perron here with the hesitation, loses his defender. He had that corner picked, and Ajaga was there for the rebound. It just got picked off on the way through. That's normally a goal.
And there's the Blue Devil head man, John Kerr.
And we see Coach Kerr writing down those talking points for halftime right now.
Duke Hall of Fame inductee, his 16th year guiding his alma mater. Back-to-back NCAA tournaments, back-to-back deep runs in the NCAA tournament for the Blue Devils. A quarterfinal appearance last year after a third-round appearance in 2021. Blue Devils, of course, the last couple of years finishing with undefeated regular seasons, and there's some pressure when you go into the postseason, but without any sort of defeat. And perhaps for the Blue Devils, maybe taking a couple of competitive but tough losses has them battle-tested for the postseason this year. Obviously, some work still to do for the Blue Devils in the final couple of weeks of the season.
And Chris, as you mentioned, this is why you come to Duke, and that's what Coach Kerr stresses at training to this team is, you know, we are here for the pressure. We're here for the bullseye. That's what this program's about.
Top of the 18, headed away. Ajago trying to play one on, and now the Blue Devils with a little bit of momentum.
This is that Blue Devil counterattack, but great job by Elon condensing. They got 5 guys behind the ball instantly. And Elon plays 4 in the middle, 2 6s and 2 10s. Those 6s defensively, especially if your wing backs are up, your job is to condense and cover that space is exactly what happened.
Now Masalis plays one in, looking for Ajago on the run there, but another nice defensive play by Elon.
Well, yeah, there's no secret how this team is going to attack in terms of the Blue Devils, and Elon's ready for it.
Mason Darden, local product there, out of Leesville High School, just down the road. Some local flair on this Elon roster. Talk more about that as we move along tonight. Plays it out on the wing. Now Daly chips one. Ajago heads it, but he's off frame there. Talked about him earlier, but Mark Reeves, the head coach at Elon, has done such a phenomenal job his 7th year as the head coach of the Phoenix. Talked about that NCAA tournament appearance a year ago, won the CA regular season. Comes to Elon from Radford, and a guy who has won everywhere that he's been as a head coach.
Yeah, this season, this is the anomaly for him, and he was very forthcoming with us about the challenges and taking that home with him and how much he puts into this and how much he cares about this team and his players. And don't worry, this will be short-lived. They'll get it turned around.
Especially in this day and age of college athletics where the portal is so prevalent, go out and basically get another team next year.
Just like that.
Just,
I mean, and to your point, I mean, incorporating 12 new guys, 7 of those freshmen and 5 of those transfers, that's a lot of guys to incorporate.
6 of the seniors off that team from Elon last year that went to the NCAA tournament, they've transferred and are playing somewhere else. And there was no hostility, no animosity from Coach Reeves.
It's the new game. It's a new era we're in. And if anything, it's a challenge to coaches that, you have to keep these guys engaged. It's a different challenge than what it was several years ago, to your point.
Batted down. Blue Devils trying to keep it. That one was feathered into the box, but turned away nicely by Elon.
Yes, Cam Kerr did all the hard work, winning that ball, and just again, not the cleanest execution in the final third in the box. We saw the last attacking series with Amir Daly, wanted on that right flank and probably had a few minutes to get into the box. To Coach Kerr's point, he stressed with us. So just knowing when you have the time and exploding it and being confident.
Masalis directing traffic. Well, nice pass there. Wayne Frederick. A couple of Blue Devils were there. Masalis couldn't corral it, but gets bailed out with a foul. And the Blue Devils have an opportunity here after this foul.
Wayne Frederick, who's been a breath of fresh air, has really come of age with this team this season. We see him exploiting that sideline, getting down the wing and getting the ball to an interior mid. Perion is very dangerous from this situation. So we're going to see an in-swinging ball. Look for this far post. Look for a Jago.
Trying to get a header on it. Still loose. Jorgensen couldn't finish. Now Periano plays one in, headed out by the Phoenix. But a throw in deep in the attacking third for the Blue Devils. And
one thing Elon will really need to focus on defensively is when these Blue Devils get chances, you have to limit them to one. Most of these chances, there have been 3 of them. The first one, the rebound, then the putback.
Kenny Hott. Kerr couldn't corral it, but the Blue Devils get another opportunity. Seeing the Blue Devils play with a little more edge and a little more pep in their step over the last couple minutes.
They know halftime's coming. They know they have work to do.
Chipped ahead for a Jago. Tried to settle. Wanted a foul call. And we get a stoppage here. And a card will be assessed. I believe it will go against the Blue Devils here. And Bull Jorgensen.
And that's, he's got the one already. Yep. And again, this crew is going to keep control of this game. Just came in a little too aggressively considering he already had a warning and a talking to. Jago just couldn't get in front of that. Now, that's what you want to see from your other 9 is closing that down, but you're a little late to that. Just a little more awareness of where you're on the field, and the ref is standing right in front of you.
To your point, after the warning earlier, had to be a little more cautious there, and now Jorgensen has to be even more cautious playing with that yellow.
And by no coincidence, our friend DeJordan just hopped up off the bench ready to sub in. So, really that's to protect Bull.
Sure it is.
Make sure he calms down. You definitely want to finish this game with 11 players, and he'll get back in.
Nice move there. Cito plays one ahead. The Jago.
Go. Foul.
No call there.
And really, that's a trend we've seen a lot this season. Cam Aceto with more confidence stepping into those spaces. He's done it very effectively. And he's a player, he can step into that midfield, and he can bring it out of the back and create chances.
Some confusion here over the substitution, but they'll allow it now. Bjornsson, for Bjornsson. The rookie from Iceland is in for the Blue Devils.
And he's another immediate impact player, and this has been the typical starting front 2 for the Blue Devils all season.
Interesting, too, for Elon, a sub for the Phoenix as they bring Luca Earhart in. Earhart, the graduate student, the transfer from James Madison. He's kind of been slowed by a lower body injury, preseason All-CAA selection, and he's a guy that's really been in the fray for Elon and a guy that the Phoenix are hoping to get healthy. They think that Earhart could be one of those guys down the stretch that really makes an impact offensively for their club.
Yeah, on our call, we asked Coach Reeves, who's the guy that has been showing flashes, has been earning more time, that you think could really step up and make a difference tomorrow, and Luca was the first guy I mentioned. Yeah, he's a guy, very talented. They've had to work him back slowly from that injury. More and more minutes, and they feel he's finally ready to make the impact.
Periano with the service in, and nobody home for Duke.
Need a better service there. Have to really value these set pieces from a Duke perspective.
Well, if you're on that Elon sideline, you're in that technical area for the Phoenix, and you're looking up, 17 minutes to go in the first half. I think this is a win if you're Elon.
I'm not trying to jinx anything. I need to get to this half, keep this score line. Maybe we get an opportunity and put one in, but so far this is working out as well as they could have planned it in terms of controlling this game and getting opportunities.
Now a service in, but nobody home on the cross there. In the corner, Rosenblatt. And that flicked on, but off his line, Eyestone able to make the easy play. Another decent little look at it there for the Phoenix, just couldn't quite connect.
Yeah, the chances have been there. And from a Duke perspective, you don't let a team you're supposed to beat gain confidence, and get these chances, continue to see opportunity.
Take a look at the ACC scoreboard. William & Mary up 1-0 on Virginia Tech in the second half. Another CAA team trying to spring a win over an ACC club tonight.
Again, we said the CAA is a strong conference.
Also, we've talked a lot about the portal and the transfers and how everybody has got talent now. That the parity across college soccer is so paramount.
Well, it's just a different recruiting mechanism, and as you mentioned, I mean, you can create a new team ready to compete in a year, whereas typically in the American soccer model, it took, you got to get these guys in, get them acclimated, and you're looking at guys and how they project over 3 or 4 years versus I'm going to bring in a Forster Ajago, he's going to start, he's going to score 9 goals in the first, it's a different thought process. Definitely different approach to building a team.
And it's also, I mean, you do your homework, obviously, as a coach, there's film, you talk to other coaches, but sometimes maybe an unexpected transfer works out better than maybe you anticipated.
Yeah, and you never stop recruiting. There's no longer a recruiting season. I know that these coaches are getting emails from players all throughout the year. Some players are emailing coaches right now that may not be happy with their playing time, and so your recruiting cycle is it's limitless. There's always opportunity. Even teams you're playing against, the way you play against them, players could want to be a part of that.
Play to the middle third here. Elon wins control. And the offside flag is up.
He was barely offsides. That was a good build.
Take a look at it here.
You see Fatna win this ball in the midfield, does a good job holding it off, and he was off by a hair. So when you have that long frame of 6'7", you have to be a little careful in your positioning.
But a quality chance there. Blue Devils trying to build something. Ajago couldn't get to it.
Execution. Marsalis usually plays a better ball than that. Again, it's against a team you're supposed to beat. You can't beat yourself. You need to execute, play to your standard.
Pretty even first half, as the scoreline would dictate. Shots 3-1 in favor of the Blue Devils here. Duke has the only shot on goal, and the fouls even at 7 apiece. Elon's had the only 2 corner kick opportunities. Saba trying to get free there, gets it back to Rosenblatt, who had a bit of a half look at it earlier.
Elon's finding a lot of success building through the midfield right now, and they're maintaining possession. This is atypical from what you typically see an opponent do against Duke.
No call there. Elon wanted a foul, and there's the late whistle.
And that was, I believe, 11 connected passes.
Yes. Give Elon a lot of credit. Really coming out and executing their game plan to perfection thus far.
I've been impressed. They've done exactly what their coach Reeves told us they were going to do.
Now at the top of the box. Trying to shake free there was Sam Duran. Could not. Out toward the middle.
And really, that was a decent 1v1 opportunity. Now Tino Lopez just happens to be an excellent 1v1 defender and shut that down, but got to be careful there.
And Elon bringing in some firepower off the bench. Couple of their regulars, and Coach Reeves talked about, you've got to balance resting guys today. Of course, want to win, want to get the result, but also know that they've got to win some conference games as well. Blue Devils had an opportunity there, and Bjornsson has it deflect off the keeper. Blue Devils get their first corner of the night.
Well, it's unique in that both of these teams played Saturday. They both play again Friday. So you never want to look past an opponent and look ahead, but they both got big games coming Friday. We see this ball into Ajago. Good job getting this head up early, finding Bjornsson. And that's another example where he probably could have taken another touch, 1v1, and gotten into the box.
Goes back to finishing in the final third that Coach Kerr really harped about.
That will definitely be, if we look down, I bet you Coach Kerr is scribbling on his notebook right now. That will be stressed at halftime, trust me.
Now let's see if Duke can convert off their first corner of the evening. Service in, back post. Kept into the box, and boy, Duke wanted to foul there.
That could have gone either way.
Yeah.
Cam Kerr did a great job of winning that and settling that ball, and I'm not on the field, but that looked like a foul to me. We see Cam Kerr gain possession. Actually, no. In fairness, there was some ball contact first, and then the physical contact came later. That's why the referees are the pros, right?
That's right. One of those 50-50 calls,
Yeah.
sure. But again, that goes back to John Kerr, the Duke head coach, that to his point, finishing, being more aggressive in that final third. If you get a call, if you have contact in the box, obviously set yourself up for a penalty kick opportunity.
Exactly. You can't get that opportunity if you're not in the box.
Right. Duke's been very good in those opportunities this year. 4 for 4. Turnover.
Great job by Amir Daly stepping in that space.
Ajago couldn't shake free. Tracks it down, sends one in, settled. Periano couldn't finish, a nice save.
Didn't get the result, but that was a great build. First start of the Amir Daly stepping in. Gets over to Ajago. Quick ball through. Zornson to lay off to Periano. Zornson's done a great job of that all season. Just the quick layoff, setting a teammate up. Very quick instincts on the counterattack.
Not a bad effort by Periano on the shot either. Nice save by Wolboleski, though.
Yeah, Wolboleski made a great save. Periano picked his corner again.
Salas got a foot on it. Elon retains possession. They'll play through the middle again where they found some success recently.
Amir Daly.
Once again, Daly's been the spark plug for the Blue Devils the last couple of moments. Salas on the wing. Headed, and another diving save. Bjornsson.
Bjornsson is so good on those quick reflex reaction type plays, whether it be a header, getting a quick touch on it. And again, we see the ball getting wide and getting served into the middle.
Bjornsson, the 4th player from Iceland to play for Duke in the last 4 years.
They've had some good ones.
They have.
Had another guy a couple of seasons ago up top that wasn't too bad finishing in the box.
Yeah, he was okay, wasn't he?
He was okay.
I mean, I guess. That's the best you get. Final 8.5 minutes of this opening half from Koskinen Stadium. Beautiful night. Perfect early October evening.
Can't ask for better weather or better field or better conditions.
Michael Clow, by the way, will get charged with the yellow. It's also K9 at Koskinen night, so a couple of our furry friends are hanging out. Each side now charged with a yellow in this opening half. Salas sends one on, and another save.
Chances are coming. Great individual effort by Bjornsson in the middle to turn that ball, maintain possession, find the proper outlet. Had a couple of choices there.
And so far, Roboleski's been up to the task for Elon.
He has.
He's faced 3 shots on goal, and a couple of those coming in the last couple of moments for Duke.
Which in this type of game, it gives you a lot of confidence as a team when you know your keeper has your back behind you.
Turned over there, Frederick. Wayne Frederick, nice move, top of the box, drives one. Another save by Roboleski. On the rebound, the Blue Devils get the corner.
Another great effort from Frederick. Great cutback there, created some space. Really hard save. We see again, Frederick gets this, patience, cuts it back, gets it on his right, goes opposite corner. It's a great save.
You liked Frederick taking that shot there?
I like it because it was a good shot.
Sure.
So it's more of the result. But, probably per Coach Kerr's game plan, get into the box. But that could have easily been a goal.
Sure. It's like basketball coach. No, no, no. Yes, yes, yes.
Exactly.
Into the box. And heavy contact. But another corner coming for the Blue Devils here.
I do like the composure from several Blue Devils in the offensive third. We've seen Periana do it a couple of times. We just saw Bjornsson do it. We see Frederick do it. In terms of winning that 1v1 battle, creating space, and having composure to take a good shot.
Stay between. Stay between. All right. Yes.
Ruben Masalis will take this corner kick for the Blue Devils.
And Ruben plays a great ball. See, whip it in with his left boot.
Ajago maybe just barely got a piece of it. They say no. It'll be a goal kick coming for the Phoenix here.
We are starting to see the urgency. Mm-hmm. The urgency of the moment from the Blue Devils, a different, heightened level of intentionalness about going about scoring.
But Elon, to their credit, they've been up to the task.
Scoreline still 0-0.
And again, that probably to the point we made earlier about how good the culture, how good the locker room still is for Elon. If you don't have guys that have bought in despite your record, probably not in a situation like this in mid-October.
Absolutely right.
Now Periano with it for the Blue Devils. Plays one for Frederick. Frederick dumps one down. Kenny Hott couldn't settle. One by the Blue Devils. Aceto, and nothing there.
Cam Aceto, another good job stepping up. That's a trend we'll see. But again, a one and done and a shot outside the 18.
Does that go back to the patience for Duke? Just having a pace more.
Yep.
Just
and I know you want to score, and that's the objective, obviously, to win games. But I think in this type of game and at this point of the season, it's not so much, it's how you score and how we're going to do it and how we're going to approach the game. And we'll see a focus on that in the second half. As when you get up there, let's be patient. We've got numbers in the box. First of all, get into the box. But quick passes, find a teammate, keep the ball moving.
Foul there against Elon. Getting into the box has not been the issue for Duke over the last couple of moments. It's kind of what Coach Kerr has harped on really in our call really over the last couple of weeks, and that's just having that class to be able to finish and having the patience to wait for your opportunity.
Sure.
Ajago.
Well defended.
Very well defended.
It's a good job closing them down. They've studied film. They've been trained well. He's typically going to turn to his left and try to open up, and they shut it down very quickly.
Throw in here for the Phoenix, deep in their defensive third. And still plenty of time for both teams to build an opportunity and get that first goal. You can start to see, to your point, the urgency earlier for Duke. Now, maybe some frustration building in for the Blue Devils.
Well, it's, desperation is a stinky cologne, right? I mean, and this team has the class and they're good enough to maximize these chances. So it's just, this is where you need your leaders to put a foot on the ball. You never want to slow the game down. But in terms of composure, hey, guys, let's hold ourselves to a higher standard.
And a foul just on the throw in there. Patinko was the culpable party. Headed out. The Blue Devils retain the possession. Marching it further down the pitch here, trying to build their opportunity. Tino Lopez. Now through the middle. Periano with it with some space.
Good recognition by Periano. Put a foot on the ball, find a proper outlet, get a better opportunity.
Couldn't quite connect those passes there, though. And Duke has to play it back to Eystone here. 2 minutes to go, and maybe Duke needing a sense of urgency here, Cedric.
Yeah, 2 minutes, close the half. I mean, from a Duke perspective, you want to get one in before the half's over.
If you're Elon, are you content going to the locker room 0-0?
Absolutely. At this stage in the game of Duke having the ball in your offensive half, I think 0-0 will be quite the accomplishment, actually.
Frederick, nice move. Masalis. Periano tried to flick it on ahead. Now that 50-50 ball won by the Phoenix. Final 80 seconds of the first half. Good step through there. Kenny Hott in the middle now for Duke has it. Hott for the top of the 18, leaves one off. Punched in, and nobody home for Duke to get the rebound.
And what did we just see there? Elon had a moment of impatience, got spread out, which they haven't done all half, and almost got punished for it.
And barring something unforeseen in the last 50 seconds, we will head to the break 0-0. Ton of credit to Mark Reeves and his Elon club for playing their game plan and executing it at such a high level in the first 45 minutes.
It's always a good thing from a coaching perspective when your team executes exactly how you want them to play, and that's what they've done.
Final 20 seconds, and a foul here against the Blue Devils. And now with 18 seconds left in the half, Elon gets a golden opportunity on a set piece.
And they have to realize the opportunity they have is we've got time. We can run a set play. Every team has certain plays they'll run. You see the big boys coming into the box.
And Tito Lopez will get issued the yellow card.
And unfortunate, Tino did a good job stepping into that, but that was absolutely a foul. So now, you know, this play, you're looking for an in-swinger. You're either looking for a hit one of your guys a header on the outside post, or they're going to lay it back across and get crashing runs and try to finish.
Stromston, the 6-7 player, could be a target here perhaps for the Phoenix. Eystone punches it away. 15 seconds to go in the half. Elon's got to hurry to get this corner kick off.
They'll get it off for one more play. Let's see.
Service in and headed away by Masalis, and that'll be the end of the first half. 0-0 after the first 45 minutes, but you look at the stats. Duke out shooting Elon 11-2, a 6.
You know, when they condensed the field, when they were patient and allowed themselves to build and get numbers up, that's when they created chances, and then the early set pieces.
Elon, the opening touch of this second half. From a Duke perspective, if you're in that locker room with Coach Kerr, what do you think the adjustments were with Coach Kerr and his staff?
Look like the better team. You know, we need to separate ourselves and look like the better team. Let's play to our level. And that comes with patience and composure. And we can already see it, a more measured approach to the build. If it's not on, we don't have to lump the long ball out. Let's play our style, which is right what we're doing right now. Let's find Amir Daly on the side and get a ball into the box.
Punched away nicely, though, by Robileski.
I thought they were going to make me look pretty good from there.
Doesn't always work out like that.
Doesn't always work out that way.
We'll edit that together. Magic of TV for you later. Kenny Hott to the middle for the Blue Devils. And Duke did have some success working that similar strategy. And there's a bullet from outside the 18, but another save.
Well, we can already see Duke's going to be aggressive. And I guarantee you part of that halftime speech was let's put this game away as early as possible. Do not allow them to build additional confidence in this half.
Confidence, a fickle thing. Elon certainly playing with a lot of it. And to your point, the longer this half goes, the more they believe they can win this game.
It's a fleeting emotion. Very subjective.
That one worked back to Eystone. And he'll work to build the attack here for the Blue Devils.
And this is exactly what we discussed in the first half. When it's not on, have the confidence to work it around, find the better outlet. We've seen it now 2 times to start this half. And we didn't see much combination play between the center backs.
Jago trying to get there off his line was Roboleski to play it away. Trying to shake free, Cam Kerr. But he thought that he won the corner there for the Blue Devils, and he did. Potential handball here, perhaps.
Good job by Cam Kerr, 1v1 effort, beating his man. Yeah, that could have been a handball. That was close. Definitely a corner.
Ruben Masalis will take the honors here for the Blue Devils. As we mentioned, the 4th corner of the night for Duke. Kenny Hott will try to track it down. On the touch line, can the Blue Devils save it? They cannot. This is an Elon team, 8 consecutive matches without a victory. There have been a couple of ties, actually 3 ties sprinkled in there, and 5 losses as well for the Phoenix, but they've been pretty competitive in most all of their games and really felt like they let a win slip away last time out at Northeastern.
Yeah, and that was one of their better performances of the season. And Coach Reeves really talked about, as growing as a team, capitalizing those opportunities, winning games you're supposed to win where you've outplayed your opponent. And one game he mentioned specifically was against UNC, where he thought, as you mentioned in the first half, one of the better individual and collective performances he's seen, and he thought that scoreline was extremely unfair.
A 2-0 defeat in Chapel Hill a couple of weeks ago. Amir Daly looking to create for the Blue Devils here. Daly leaving one into the box. Kerr right back to Daly, and it was punched away.
Hey, but you know what? We'll take that. That was a great build. The patience, again, in the box, as Coach Kerr has stressed.
And maybe a foul here, and perhaps a card on Elon. Thought for a moment the card was going to come out. Kerr is down for the Blue Devils. And just outside of the 18, the Blue Devils will have a golden opportunity here 5 minutes into this first half.
We've seen the ball out to Cam Kerr 3 times so far in this half. Good job putting himself in a dangerous situation. That could have easily been a card.
Clow was lucky there. Remember, he picked up the yellow in the first half for Elon. That would have been disastrous for the Phoenix if the yellow card came out there.
It would have been.
Now, 5 minutes into the second half, it'll be the Blue Devils with the opportunity. Masalis, and too much.
And we've already seen a distinct difference to start this half. Elon had the corners early, all of the set pieces early in that half were really imposing their will, complete opposite. Duke has come out on a mission. Closing space quicker, more urgency, more energy.
Jago plays that one to the middle. Kenny Hott through 2 defenders. Plays one to the top of the 18. Hopped over the boot of Hott. Leaves one down for Kerr.
And look now, 3-4 combinations in the box. This is what, 3rd corner already of the second half.
Blue Devils play it quickly. And too much weight on that pass. Daly tries to track it down, does. And if you're Elon here, you just got to get something out of your defensive third.
Got to get out of there, first of all.
They did. That's mission accomplished number 1.
It's one step.
And now Stromston. He leaves one off. An opportunity here for the Phoenix. Great closing speed, and then the Blue Devils able to get it out of danger.
Well, I'll tell you what, Cam Aceto did a good job of closing that down, but if there's a better touch on that reception, that's a shot on goal.
And Eyestone able to pick that one cleanly.
See, Stromson did a good job creating space, opening it up, good outlet to the wing. It's an opportunity, just a little better touch, not quite as heavy.
Well, one of the things John Kerr talked to us about this week was how the defensive effort of his club has kind of been the consistent all year long for the Blue Devils. You know, the third best goal differential in the ACC, and you saw the defense on display there.
And that really all starts with Tino Lopez. You know, the centerpiece of that back three. He's having his best year as a Blue Devil. That back line has been incredibly consistent with a few interchangeable parts. And there's, you know, a few more guys on the bench that could step in as well. So very deep back line for the Blue Devils.
Victor!
Okay, John, you got to do.
Has Elon gained more confidence so far in this second half, despite the opportunity for the Blue Devils?
I think they've lost confidence, really compared to how they ended the second half. This is clearly a different Duke team in terms of imposing their will, in terms of chances. So Elon now has to kick it up again and slow this game down, get back to what they were effective with in the first half. Now they're the team with one and done, very few chances. They're not building it the same way with the same confidence they were in the midfield, and that's a tribute to this Duke team stepping up.
Stoppage in play here for a moment. And now we're all on the same page. Blue Devils do get it back. Where does Duke go for a spark here, Cedric? Or just keep doing what you're doing?
Keep doing what you're doing. It's been highly effective. I mean, Cam Kerr has been an immediate spark. With his effort, he's already gotten a couple of crosses over. We see it coming to him again. And Kenny Hott has been very good. I mean, the two of them are combining well. He's done a good job getting into the box on several plays.
Played out wide here. Into the box. And Ajago was making the run for it there for the Blue Devils. Couldn't track it down.
Just more of the same.
Yeah.
It's working. They're getting chances.
You mentioned Cam Kerr and how effective he's been for Duke so far in the second half. How about just the development of Cam Kerr? Obviously, John Kerr's son really got into the weight room over the last 18-plus months, and that's really been, according to Coach Kerr early in the season, kind of the big next missing piece for his game.
Well, young man I know very well. I'm extremely proud of his development, local product, and seeing him gain confidence and grow from a role player to a very pivotal part of this team who's had some big-time moments. He's had some big-time assists in the NCAA tournament, and he's a leader on this team. And you're right, he's had a history of some lower body injuries at times, some muscular stuff, and he's really worked on his body. He's a guy we've been fortunate to have with us for 3 summer sessions, and he works hard every summer to get himself prepared for the next season.
And don't want to forget Drew, John Kerr's other son, who's on the team as well, so a family affair here for the Kerrs.
Drew, the walking goal from anywhere on the field of that left field. Drew Kerr is quite the player. Don't worry, we'll be seeing more of him in the future.
And then a daughter who's playing some high-level soccer, too, for the Kerr family.
Great career at Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Man, she's the Kerrs are a soccer brand.
They sure are. Great move here. Looking to get it in. Oh, and just wide of the cage there. A great look at it from Kerr, who was making a nice run for the Blue Devils.
That was a great run, and Wayne Frederick's been another spark. We saw it in that first half. Wayne Frederick wins his individual battle, actually beats 2 guys on that wing, gets himself into space, plays a great ball exactly where you want it, right on the PK spot. Cam Kerr was there.
Didn't work out for me either after I brought up Cam Kerr. Now we're even after you had yours earlier this half.
By law of averages, he's going to score a goal in a little while, trust me.
Amir Daly trying to win the 50-50 ball. Foul there against the Blue Devils, and a foul there against the Phoenix, I beg your pardon. Gives it back to the Blue Devils.
Every time they kick it as if it's theirs.
Now Duke playing with some pace here.
Yeah. I think I agree with that.
In the middle, Periano trying to sidestep a defender. Tries to leave one off. And that's punched out, and a corner for Duke.
This Duke attack and counterattack is relentless, and we see it with the earned set-piece opportunities, one after the other.
6th corner kick for the Blue Devils, 5th corner kick
can only put so much pressure on the dam before it eventually breaks.
Service in. Headed down for a moment as Frederick gets tangled up with a Elon player, and it rolls out to the center area. And back to Elon here. Phoenix will get a sub. Sam Duran, another fourth-year true senior at Elon. Checking in, the native of Cary, North Carolina, played at Green Hope High School. Actually was the MVP of the high school state championship game for Green Hope.
A lot of good local products in this team. And Coach Reeves talked about managing minutes.
Yep.
You know, Stromson, I imagine he'll be back in. Let's get him 10 minutes, bring him in for the home stretch to finish it off.
And as we alluded to in the first half, certainly Elon wants to win tonight. Competitor, everybody wants to win every time you take the pitch, but they know that in the grand scheme of things, this game, while it might help their RPI, doesn't help them become one of the top 6 teams in the CAA to qualify for their postseason tournament.
I think one of the biggest challenges of a coach, you know, when you get in the heat of the schedule in this part of the season, is you don't want a double loss where you lose the game and you're tired for your Friday night game. So, but you also want to give everything you have tonight. So it's a challenge.
A catch-22. Now through the middle, a 50-50 ball. Got a little bit too much weight on it, perhaps. Daly couldn't corral it. Masalis turns, flicks it ahead. Bjornsson couldn't pick it up for Duke. It's just kind of a game that's played in the middle third for the last couple of moments here. Neither team really able to snatch any sort of possession or momentum.
Well, we see the spacing condense once again, where most of the play is all happening, as you said, right in this middle third. Again, more patience from the Blue Devils. They're drawing Elon out and elongating the field. Let's open up space so we can find those lanes and get in between the lines.
And then imagine it's taking advantage of some of their athleticism when they can do that as well.
It is. And you could see a conscious effort as soon as Duke noticed, hey, it's getting condensed again. I guarantee you that was part of the halftime. If it gets condensed, open it up. Let's draw them out. Let's find our space, and then we play our style.
Just need a little break, yeah.
August Guinea, a native of Denver, North Carolina, has checked in for the Phoenix. First-year Elon player after transferring from Gardner-Webb. Now, through the middle, a late whistle. There's a flag, and now things getting a little testy here. And a card issued to Elon. And I believe this will go on Scott Vatnut.
Well, good job of the referees keeping control of this. You had that foul, and you arguably could have called one against Jago in the corner. Guy had his arms around him. So this could have been the first foul. We see Vatney with his arms, and Vatney steps in there rather, and he's going to win that. It's not malicious at all.
14th foul on Elon tonight. Now, the Blue Devils, another set-piece opportunity. Can they convert here? Masalis swings one in, headed in for the Blue Devils. It's a Jago, his 5th goal in the last 5 games. And the Blue Devils strike first.
Brilliant ball by Ruben Marsalis. I gave him a hard time in the first half, said he could do better. That is what Ruben Marsalis does. Dump that ball in perfectly. Mr. Jago does the rest, and it's dancing time at Koskinen. 10th goal of the season for Mr. Jago. Let's see it again. Marsalis plays a great ball over the top. Forster Jago find with a knack for goal. He's there, finds his corner, and then he finds his corner to do his dance, which has become his trademark.
A brilliant ball, a brilliant finish, and the Blue Devils striking first again, which has been a good omen for the Blue Devils. 4-1-0 when scoring first this year. Last year, 11-1-1 when they tallied first in contest.
And that's the break these Blue Devils needed. They've been working diligently for the first 15 minutes, putting themselves in position. Have absolutely dominated this half.
Now, if you're Elon, down 1-0, the strategy, I assume, has to change a little bit.
Now you got to go. Now you have to be more intentional. You can't.
Dangerous play there.
Getting a little dicey.
Believes it'll be Frederick, or will it be Ajago? It'll be Ajago who has issued the card.
Yeah, Jago got him. He came in from behind, and he quickly holds his hands up. He knows.
My fault. Again, have to be mindful of that. Can't give this Elon team opportunities on set pieces over the final half of this second half.
Well, and again, we see great management. We see a sub hop up in the form of our guy Bull Horgenson over there. Immediately, and I guarantee he's going to get Forster Jago out with that yellow card.
And a goal kick coming here for the Blue Devils. And here are the subs for the Blue Devils. As you mentioned, Bull Jorgensen, who started for Duke tonight. It was his third career start in his rookie year. Luke Thomas also entering for the Blue Devils.
Jago is not happy about being pulled right now. This is a coach looking out for you. And again, we see a few more subs coming. Hey, we got the lead, 30 minutes left. Now let's get some fresh blood in, get some looks at additional guys as we go into the heat of ACC season. Let's look at some things. Let's manage some minutes.
Go, go, go.
And now Eisen puts it in play.
Help him, help him, help him. Yeah, Nick, head on.
14, you going in next? 14-22. For
Blue Devils with some momentum here. Into the box. And a blast, top shelf, and a 2-0 Duke lead.
And Luke Thomas is making Coach John Kerr look like a genius. He's been in the game 30 seconds and just hit an absolute left-footed rocket. And where did that come from? Patience and composure in the box, finding the right player. That is a fantastic goal.
His first of the year for the Charlotte native.
Literally just subbed in. Again, Frederick started this. He's been a ball of energy for this team. Gets it out to Periano. Head up. Luke's on the 18. Quick touch. Boom.
Just a slither of daylight for Thomas, who connects.
That's a quality goal right there.
Upper 90. And again, the first of the season.
Luke Thomas is another player who's continued to evolve. Former walk-on, has become an integral part of this team, has started many games this season. And to get to where this Blue Devil team wants to go and knows they can go, you need everybody contributing. That is a great sign to see that substitute and the goal immediately.
This goes back to what we talked about in the first half as well, Cedric. The hard decisions that John Kerr has to make. And now a guy comes in, scores within the first minute of being on the pitch, and now you've got even tougher decisions to make.
Well, you do, but you know what? It also shows you can make an impact in small moments. And,
sure.
And one thing Coach Kerr talked about was maximizing the time you are on the field. And not so much, again, quality over quantity, and be ready for your opportunity. And Luke Thomas most certainly was.
Cameron Fisher has also checked in for the Blue Devils, as has Drew Kerr.
Cameron Fisher's a guy, the UNC grad transfer. He's coming off injury in the preseason. They've been diligently trying to work him in with more and more minutes the last few weeks.
Miguel Ramirez has also entered for Duke tonight. So to your point, now leading by 2 goals, the Blue Devils can get a longer look at maybe some of their other guys and rest some legs as Duke gets ready for that big in-state battle against NC State here on Friday.
Completely different game right now in terms of managing minutes, in terms of approach to the game. Now have firmly asserted ourselves as being ahead from a Duke perspective.
Drew Kerr will take this corner for the Blue Devils.
I expect this to be a very good service. Drew Kerr does not play bad balls. Let's see.
Kerr Ooh, nobody home there for the Blue Devils.
For 23.
Daly will keep it. But now that we're talking about managing minutes and the way this game has started to play out with Duke getting those 2 goals this half, good ball in, nobody home again. Does Elon now start to think about managing minutes for their contest against Campbell on Friday?
I think so. I think in the next 5 minutes we'll see a few bodies jump up, especially if that one will.
Yeah, nearly another one for the Blue Devils. A great run at it by Bjornsson.
But I saw Coach Reeves just look down at his watch. I imagine that's exactly what he's thinking about. Amir Daly plays a good ball across the box. Ooh, Bjornsson just got a foot on that. That was there.
Popped this score in earlier, but want to go back to it. Look at 10th-ranked Syracuse at home, down 1-0. Syracuse has outshot Temple 10-3, but it goes back to what we talked about in the first half. It's not the quantity of the opportunities, it's the quality of the opportunities.
Yeah, and it shows again that how deep American soccer is right now. Any given night, you don't have, and Syracuse is a very good team.
Yes.
I mean, obviously coming off a national championship, but just watching them this weekend against UNC, they're just. I obviously saw them against these Blue Devils last week as well, but they're just gaining confidence and playing like they do. So that is very surprising.
Speaks to the parity.
It does.
That one through the middle and a missed opportunity for Elon.
And that's what you can't have as this Blue Devil team in terms of managing this game. Again, don't beat yourself. Can't allow those opportunities for miscommunication. And that's just simply not knowing who was accountable for that ball as it comes across the box.
It was Earhart who had the nice run here for Elon. And would love to have that one back.
Just a little confusion.
Well, that's also all for Bjornsson there, a rookie, playing there in front for the Blue Devils.
And, doing the right thing, getting back. But, Eyestone, another rookie, as a keeper, not only a rookie, but should be a senior in high school right now.
Correct.
That's his ball. That's his box. He has to communicate that and call that loud and clear. That will continue to improve as they get more chemistry.
Final 24 minutes here from Koskinen Stadium. Blue Devils trying to win their 18th straight regular season game here at home.
It's pretty impressive.
Talk a lot about protecting your home turf, especially in the ACC, and the reason that the Blue Devils have had so much success recently, winning at home.
Yeah.
Especially when you have to make some of those tough trips in the ACC. We've talked really ad nauseum earlier about how the Blue Devils had to make that long trip to South Bend. You see the last time Duke lost a home regular season game was in Clemson, beat them in overtime in October of 2021.
Well, and as you teased earlier, we know what's coming. As this conference expands, I mean, imagine when you incorporate this West Coast travel. It is going to become more and more imperative to protect your home turf.
Well, especially even if you don't travel to the West Coast, the quality of teams that's coming in at Stanford and SMU. Trying to track it down in the corner for the Blue Devils is Thomas. Flicked on back to the middle third. And Eyestone will collect and build for the Blue Devils.
And the Blue Devils have completely taken control of the pace, the tempo, the way this match is played. This Elon team will fight to the end because that's the character of who they are. But Duke has put their stamp on this game. There was not this much space in the midfield in the first half in terms of Duke being able to connect.
And Elon down the 2 goals. We saw that missed opportunity a few moments ago, but they've really not had a whole lot to get going offensively over the last, 5-10 minutes of this match.
It's been one and done. It's just and which has gone away from their game plan of and Duke's had a little bit to do with that. the patience and composure and maintaining possession, higher and higher lines and moving as a team and condensing the field. They're more spread out than they were in the entire first half right now.
Forrester Ajago appears to be ready to check back in for Duke. Surprised that Ajago coming back in?
No, just had to get him out for a coolant check. Make sure he was calm and get a little bit of a rest. And a lot of this is he's got to stay in form. As they go into the heat of the ACC season, it's repetition. And Forrester Ajago, Coach Kerr would tell you, he's the first guy at training, last guy to leave, one of the fittest guys on the team. He can go.
Now, I also thought it was interesting when we were talking about Ajago during our call with Coach Kerr this week. He said, he works his tail off. He's a guy that studied for 2 hours the tape that the coaches give him, not just 2 hours here or there. He studied and knew everything that Syracuse was going to throw at him, a student of the game.
Very cerebral player. I was having a conversation with him earlier in the season, and he's talking to me about Louisville. They don't even play Louisville this season. He's just that type of guy where he can tell you what every team is doing in the ACC and what type of defense he's going to see. So, yeah, he's a student of the game, and he will tell you he wants to be a pro. And he's working towards that. And he puts in the work to get there. He's a great example of what young players need to see, and a guy who's earning it and doesn't take plays off.
But isn't that kind of the hallmark? Your best players are often the ones that are the hardest workers and spending the most time in the film room, in the training, working on their craft.
They should be, and that's not always the case. Sometimes you have the entitlement from your best players that feel they don't have to do the same job, and you can kill a team. So yes, it makes a team that much stronger when your best players are also your hardest workers, because then it's unquestioned why they're on the field.
Saba went down there for Elon. Appears to be okay. No stoppage in play. 20 minutes left from Koskinen Stadium. Nineteenth meeting between these clubs. What's become a really competitive series. Both coaches talked about the importance of playing these matches every year. For Duke last year, the Blue Devils got that win at Elon. That was an important RPI win for the Blue Devils, and even Coach Reeves talked about it. He said, a couple years ago, had that loss to Hofstra in their conference tournament, had that regular season win that really bolstered their RPI and got them in to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, then this isn't a team that Duke takes lightly. There's a ton of respect between both of these coaches as well as programs. There's a lot of very good soccer players on this team for Elon.
Settled. Duke looking for that 3-goal advantage, but Elon quickly to it. And just no room to connect anything for the Phoenix at the moment.
And that's another deviation from the first half. Elon cannot build out of their back third right now.
That one punch. Ajago is there trying to head it in, and it took a tricky bounce, but
Ajago wishes he had that one back. He had his line of sight. He usually finishes those, just didn't quite connect. Hit it into the ground a little bit too hard.
I have that same problem when I hit my driver. Hit it into the ground sometimes too hard. Swing and miss. That's the reason I'm up here talking to you. And a stoppage and a card will be assessed here to the Blue Devils. It'll go on Drew Kerr. Check that. It's a Cito. Beg your pardon. Didn't want to hand out a erroneous yellow card to someone who didn't deserve it.
In fairness, I thought it was Drew Kerr as well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Cito earned that one. But that's what you want to see from your back line, coming in aggressively. As we look at the fouls in Elon, they've had their fair share of fouls. They came in here to state their presence and make sure these Blue Devils felt them tomorrow.
What does it look like? Another turnover. Elon. Oh, couldn't connect there.
Drew Kerr's got to simply do a better job of outlet there.
And the last couple of almost chances or half chances or perhaps building for a chance for Elon has come off of one of those Duke mistakes.
Absolutely. And look at the spacing right now. Again, Duke has all the space in the midfield. Elon is is much more expansive than they'd like to be.
Blue Devil down behind the play. Nick Periano appears to be okay.
And now we start seeing the subs from Elon. We said 5 minutes. It took about 8. But I think this is the point in the game where get some fresh legs. Let's see what you can see from some guys. There's a lot you can still learn even in a loss. And that's the message to the players right now, but also have to get prepared for a tough match on Friday.
Jordan Wilson, Charlie Kurtz will check in. Another Phoenix will come in as well to complete the trio in a moment. A couple of Blue Devils will come in as well.
I believe I see a Lewis McGarvey sighting down there.
Yeah.
I was wondering how he was in his progress back from injury. Been a long time.
And another one that if he can give you valuable minutes for the Blue Devils down the stretch, makes this team even deeper, makes this team even tougher, and gives them another weapon.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Ja Bean as well, who's been a starter. And this is a very strategic moment. There's a reason these guys are going in. You need to get them confidence, chemistry. This is the game to do it.
Especially as you get toward the postseason. Again, we talked about it at halftime. The Blue Devils certainly have a tougher road ahead, winnable games for the Blue Devils, and certainly helps that after tonight they only leave the friendly confines of Koskinen Stadium one more time during the regular season. But you never know during the postseason when you need that next man up, that next guy to step up and have his moment.
And it's important to keep those guys engaged, making sure they know they're a big part of this and what we're doing.
Kerr. Now gets it to Ramirez. And the Blue Devils will keep it on this end. Sabine and McGarvey checking in for Duke. And how about a nice hand there?
Good recognition from the crowd.
And number 4, Lewis McGarvey.
And there's a nice hand as McGarvey is announced.
It's a big moment.
Puts on the captain wristband.
This McGarvey has worked very hard to put himself in. We were talking about this back line earlier, and we alluded that there's several other guys that have been big pieces. He's one of them. It's a big moment.
Missed a lot of time, as you alluded to, with injury. Played now for Daly. Daly had that one pinball away. Back to Periano now. And with 15 minutes to go, the Blue Devils trying to salt this one away. See the scoring summary here. Jago got us going, and then Luke Thomas just a minute later.
Luke Thomas with the wonder goal.
Off the bench, puts it in the back of the net. Want to keep earning playing time, do things like that.
Make your coach look like a genius. He will reward you.
What does it look like now for both of these teams? Obviously, you had the short turnaround after playing Saturday, the long travel home, getting ready for this Tuesday night match. And now you've got a couple days to implement your game plan to get ready. Both teams have pretty important conference games coming up on Friday night.
Yes, again, managing minutes, injuries, guys that didn't play a ton, get a hard training session in tomorrow to get ready for Friday. From a Blue Devil perspective, you couldn't be happier. You got a challenge. You persevered. You showed your character.
That one headed. Another one for Duke. Right there in front. A 3-0 Duke lead. It's Drew Kerr with his second of the year.
And look who started that. Luke Thomas again out on that left wing. But what is the consistent theme here? Touches in the box. Patience in the box. Composure. Great ball across. Drew Kerr, good job getting his head in there. Another great goal. So we see Amir Daly spring this ball across. Cameron Fisher finds Luke Thomas. Composure, get into the box. Finds Drew Kerr's head. It's a great goal. So we talked in the first half about not just scoring goals, but how you score goals. We've seen a lot of class. A lot of class. This is exactly what Coach Kerr wanted to say. What can we do in the box? This will pay off in the ACC season.
Thomas, of course, getting the assist. Cameron Fisher also gets credit with an assist. his first of the year.
I knew that left boot worked for Drew Kerr. I didn't know he had a head as well.
Just continues, the Blue Devils do, to build depth.
This is a fantastic outcome for Blue Devils. You get two of your players that are substitutes in the second half score. Again, just building the depth and confidence of the entire team.
In terms of mission accomplished for Duke, this is it. Felix Barajas will also check in for the Blue Devils here.
And as you remember from the broadcast, there were very specific guys we mentioned and asked about, and couldn't be happier to see this young man getting some time. Felix Barajas has been a big-time player for these Blue Devils last year. He's LA Galaxy product as a youth, played some good minutes, has been a good impact player, and just hasn't found the field this year. And, byproduct of depth, but, another young man that have gotten to know decently well and very high character, has continued to work, has been a good teammate, has been communicative with his coaches. You like to see them getting rewarded.
Yeah, to your point, 13 matches last year, actually got a start for the Blue Devils, played over 300 minutes, was a quality piece off the bench for John Kerr's team.
He's a very good player.
Now Elon trailing by 3. And it's about just trying to build some momentum now if you're the Phoenix, isn't it?
Yep, it absolutely is. Miggy Ramirez, he's another player that could be a starter, has started games. We see him contributing. Love the response we're getting from these subs. Yeah, from an Elon perspective, you need a last push. You got to try to get something. But most importantly, no more goals. You play your game, finish this half of class as a building block towards Campbell on Friday.
50-50 ball there. We talked about the remaining schedule for the Blue Devils at halftime. Maybe go a little deeper into that now. Obviously, NC State, a team that is another in-state battle here on Friday as Blue Devils get that one away with Eystone. And then at Pittsburgh, another nationally ranked foe. And then you close the ACC season with Virginia Tech here at home. 3 games for the Blue Devils that obviously will be challenging, but are winnable for this Duke team.
All winnable games. Now, they're not going to come easy. They have to play like they did in finishing this game, but everything on that schedule is winnable.
And one more non-conference game sandwiched in a couple Tuesdays from now against Howard. But for Elon, as you look at, we talk about their upcoming schedule, Campbell, a team that is right now just ahead of Elon in the CAA standings. And the Phoenix have to figure out a way to start putting it together and winning some matches. This will be their 9th straight match without a win.
And as you mentioned, it's been 2 calendar months now.
Yeah.
Almost 2 calendar months since the last win. And but a testament to this coaching staff again. These guys are still playing with their coaches. They're playing for each other. They came out hard. The scoreline may not indicate it, but I think they played a good game for the most part tonight, especially in the first half. And so building blocks. We stay together. We move forward.
Feels like that goes back to obviously the culture that Coach Reeves has implemented.
And look right now, that's a testament of it. Arm around his guy, he's still teaching. There's a lot you can learn even in a loss, and that's just a character to the man and citizen Coach Reeves is.
It's also the leadership and the quality people that he surrounds himself with in his program.
Absolutely.
Ball in, punched away nicely by Eystone there. Elon keeps it on their attacking third.
Well, and one thing I always remember about Coach Reeves, and he's pointing this out, is coaching is a lot more than just wins and losses. Especially coaching this age group. These are young men turning into men, and you play a pivotal role in their development, both in life and in soccer. And that's a challenge and responsibility he accepts and takes very seriously.
Good effort, boys. Good effort.
And this is an Elon team that had a ton of success last year. See it there, 11-5-3. They won the regular season. In the CAA, the at-large bid to the NCAA tournament, the 5th in program history, and they were so stout defensively last year.
Oh, this is a fun team to watch. They played hard. I mean, they hosted an NCAA tournament game. A season they should all be proud of. And now the next step in their progression is doing that every season, and building off of that.
Which is possible, as we've kind of documented really ad nauseum in the first half, the way that the structure of college sports is now. You can go out and you can get a team that can compete and that can host NCAA tournament games on a consistent basis.
And trust me, there's a lot of players out there who would love to play for Coach Reeves and be a part of this program.
Callie Edelstam out of Sweden will check in. Third-year player at Elon. Played in over 40 career games. Member of the CAA All-Rookie team in 2021.
For number 9.
A lot of international players. 10 countries represented on the roster. 4 players from Sweden for Elon.
A lot of languages spoken in those transitions.
But that's just the influx of the international player in the American college game. I mean, we've seen it really everywhere across the American game.
In the last 20 years, it's become a huge focus. We look right now at the teams that are, Marshall, who's been at the top. They're mostly international team. West Virginia. I mean, and it ushered in. I think Akron was one of the first to really usher in that style of recruitment, and it has become a mainstay where if you don't have your international flair and you're not looking for these guys who want to come and play in our collegiate system, you're missing the boat on some really good players.
There was an international guy that Duke had a couple years ago that was all right.
It was all right. Scored a little bit.
Yeah. I've had a few of those over the last couple years that have been okay at putting the ball in the net.
More of those have worked out than haven't.
That's exactly right. 3-0 lead for Duke. All 3 goals coming in the second half.
Well, and to your point, I would talk to Coach Crow over the summer, and every time I talked to him, he was in a different country.
Offside flag up here against the Blue Devils. Kind of have to.
Yeah, it's part of the landscape.
And the ever-changing model of the transfer portal, and now you've got to also factor in the recruitment of the international players.
Yep. Just when you think you've got it mastered, a new wrinkle gets thrown at you.
And we talked about this in the first half with Duke. 4 players from Iceland now in the last 4 years, and all of a sudden you start to develop that pipeline with these countries, and people start to talk, and now the best players talk to the other best players, and it is like that family, that feeder system.
Well, to see it is to believe it. And if you can give that tangible evidence of look what Thor did as he was here in this role, I can see you in the same role, it becomes a much easier recruitment cycle.
Another sub for the Blue Devils, Jose Ortega, a sophomore in for the Blue Devils. Wolfer B. Ornson, his night is done for the Blue Devils.
This is a win on so many levels for this Blue Devil team, and a testament to the coaching staff for going this deep and getting these guys in and getting an opportunity. This is when you can reward your players that have been working hard that maybe haven't seen the field. That's important to do at this level.
But how about the job that this entire Duke team did? Very tough result at Notre Dame over the weekend. Quick turnaround, long travel, and Coach Kerr, pretty candid, really thought his team could have competed better in that loss to the Irish, but to be able to huddle his team together and get them ready to go for a quality opponent tonight and to play the way they did, I think is pretty impressive.
It's not hard, not easy to do, rather. And these midweek trap games are notorious for being, as we see from some of these results around the country tonight. So this is not as easy as they have made it look in the second half.
And they were certainly tested in the first half. Elon gave Duke every bit of all they wanted.
And not to mention they're playing a good opponent, in which you got to throw the records out, these local Tobacco Road rivalries. But this is a good Elon team.
Certainly feels like this is, and to your point, watching this Elon team tonight, a squad that is better than their record would indicate. But the problem for Elon tonight has kind of been their problem, Cedric, all year long, just the inability to score goals.
Inability to score goals and to put a finished product out for 90 minutes. I thought they played a phenomenal 45 minutes, and it went off the rails a little bit. And again, testament to these Blue Devils. They made some quality adjustments, stylistically and tactically, which have contributed to this. But this is a good team. A lot of good pieces on this Elon team. They'll rebound.
A team that has only scored 8 goals all year long. They average about 10 shots per game. Only 6 shots for Elon so far tonight.
Yep. One glaring stat that stood out to me in the research was last year they averaged 1.42 goals a game. This year they're averaging 0.8. Last year they allowed 0.63 goals a game. This year they're allowing 1.9, which will go up a little bit after this match.
Now, some of that was the personnel they had on their team last year. Of course, they lost 6 of those seniors from that team that hosted the NCAA tournament. So it's a different makeup of this team, and to call it a rebuilding year is probably a little unfair, a little too harsh, because there are pieces here, but they certainly don't have the same guys they had last year.
They don't, and some of that can be attributed to the extra fifth year everyone got with COVID, where a lot of these seniors now have an opportunity to go play that grad year somewhere else, have already graduated, they want to explore something else, where, as you mentioned, in a normal world, those are fifth-year seniors, and this could be an entirely different season.
Blue Devils keep it here, down inside the last 3.5 minutes now. Talk about the massive wins for the Blue Devils on all fronts tonight. The easiest way to see that is the fact that only one of the 3 goals for Duke tonight scored by a starter.
Yeah. That is, Coach Kerr's going to be smiling ear to ear. When you have that amount of depth and that amount of contributors, usually equals a pretty good team.
Barajas trying to track that one down for the Blue Devils. And it'll be back to the Phoenix. Start to peek ahead a little bit as we continue to look big picture here in the last 2.5 minutes. Where does this Duke team need to continue to improve if they want to have another deep stay in the postseason as they have the last couple of years?
Have to start winning the games you're supposed to win, and which, again, every ACC game is going to be a tough match, but we go into Friday against on paper, a better opponent. State is a very good team, but that's a game you're supposed to win. That's what good teams do.
And then you got to probably sneak out a couple that you're not supposed to win too, right? And that's kind of the nature.
To reach that ultimate goal, yes. You have to overachieve some nights as well. But this team should have a ton of self-belief. This is a very deep team. One thing I've noticed is you don't see a drop-off when any of these subs come in. You don't see their teammates playing with them any differently. And you see that on some teams where a guy comes in and he's a step below. Your teammate just went out, and maybe you don't play him the ball, or you're playing a ball in a different place. They don't skip a beat. Same style, just interchangeable parts.
Elon, one final build here in the last 85 seconds. No foul. I think the Blue Devils pretty content to let this one just wind down to 75 seconds. And for Elon, really their entire season still in front of them. Just have to find a way to put it together for the last 5 conference matches of the year.
Well, Coach Reeves is a high character guy, and it's not the adversity, it's how you respond to it. And I know that's something he really stresses with this team, and they're going to stay together. They're going to keep playing, and you want to see a good team like this get rewarded. So I hope their fortune's turned for them, because they have a lot of quality parts of this team.
Batted down, 40 seconds to go. Eyestone, the rookie for the Blue Devils, the goalkeeper, looking for his 4th clean sheet of the year. And he'll have to contend with one more corner kick here in the final half minute.
Looks like it's going to end exactly the way it started, with an Elon corner, right?
Exactly right. Service in. Ooh, that one through the box. And Elon will get another corner with 20 seconds left.
Exactly the way it started.
Exactly right. And that'll be ushered aside, and that will do it from Koskinen Stadium tonight. The in-state battle belonging to the Blue Devils tonight, as 15th-ranked Duke holds serve at home with a 3-0 quality second-half effort to beat Elon.
Quality second-half effort is